Next weekend, the California Democratic Party will convene in San Francisco. Many are wondering, will they actually endorse one candidate from the packed field of Democrats vying to succeed Governor Gavin Newsom? I sat down with Paul Mitchell, who analyzes recent polling and campaign fundraising. He says it's unlikely, but there is a chance California could see two Republicans in the general election in November. Here's part of our conversation. Paul, we really appreciate you being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Paul, you built a data tool that allows people to input polling numbers, campaign spending, to sort of spit out what the scenario could end up in November.
Yeah.
Right now, it has a 12% chance that a Republican on Republican could end up being the governor's race. So
yeah.
How is that possible?
So, this is something that for the last several months I've had reporters and others calling me and saying, you know, we have these polls where Republicans are like maybe the first and second candidates in a poll. Is it possible they could both make it into the runoff in November, given the state's top two primary? And so it's one thing just to say, well, we can dismiss that. That's not likely to happen. It's never happened before. But what I ended up doing a few months ago is I started doing this little program for myself where I created a program that looked at the polling and basically ran a simulation of the election. But when you run simulations, you have to account for different probabilities. So I actually set it up to run 1,000 simulations or 5,000 simulations. And then I started making it more sophisticated, like looking at fundraising and other things, and decided, like, I'm getting so many questions about it, let's just make this a public tool. So I had some fun with it, put some funny graphics together, made it so that anybody can go in, they can set different parameters, they can see what happens when they run that election simulation. They can even mess with things like take some candidates out of the race or give somebody a $100 million independent expenditure and then rerun it to see what happens. And it is a serious tool in that it's literally using math and a lot of the same modeling that like a Nate Silver or somebody would be doing to kind of project. So it's serious in the math, but it's trying to be playful in how we look at this so far out because, you know, polling is only so determinative this far out. There's a lot that's going to happen, and as we get closer to the election, I'm sure there will be a lot more clarity. Playful
with the numbers, but still showing this slight chance.
This slight chance, and it isn't something that should be dismissed. I mean, if there was a 12% chance of me getting in an accident driving over here, we'd be doing this by Zoom. There's no way I would get in the car. So like, and we have to be concerned in our lives about things that are small probabilities. And the Democratic Party should be concerned about this small probability that two Republicans make the runoff because it could really politically decimate them for November, even so much as, you know, impacting that Prop 50 result and the competitive congressional races that Republicans could win, impacting ballot measures, impacting other statewide races. The reality is that if two Republicans were on the ballot in November, Democratic turnout would be so decimated that it would dramatically impact the politics statewide and potentially nationally. And so I was putting this out there as kind of a sound the alarm for some people who are asking questions about what's the likely outcome.
Well, some people are gathering in San Francisco this upcoming weekend. The California Democratic Party is having its convention there where they could endorse a candidate for governor. I mean, how important is it that they do that? Could a California Democratic Party endorsement maybe help with this scenario?
Well, definitely a Democratic Party endorsement for one of these candidates could massively elevate them, but I don't think that it's likely to happen. There's a 60% threshold, I think it is. All these candidates that are running have their own political bases, and I don't think that in the next week and a half, you know, that the voters in the delegation process at the convention are going to end up rallying behind one of these candidates. So I don't think that they'll have a party endorsement. But you might start seeing other political leaders come out and start doing endorsements. Adam Schiff endorsing recently. There are other people who could make an impact on this race potentially, and there might be more impetus for them to rally behind candidates going into Election Day if they're concerned that they could end up with a small chance of a Republican on Republican general.
I also asked Paul Mitchell about the likelihood we could see Governor Newsom endorse one of the candidates as his successor. Our full conversation is on CalPolitics360.com.